What's up, coaches? Welcome back to another video on the channel. This is Coach Ross with Coach Ross Football. This channel is dedicated to the spread offense, the air raid offense, anything and everything we can talk about with the spread offense, whether it's passing, running, blocking, practice plans, whatever it is, you name it, we're going to talk about it on this channel. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have not done so, make sure you go check out the series that I've been doing with Coach Brian Deason called the Air Raid Blueprint Coaching the System, where we just take concepts that we found or popular or widely used inside the air raid offense, and we break them down and we say talk about coaching points and teaching points that we may use to instruct our players, to our coaches, on how to become better at that particular concept. Now, every single episode we're doing is very vanilla. It's supposed to be, it's meant to be short, sweet, and to the point. But the main point is that the goal of it was to bring to you a short little clinic that you could watch and you could learn a concept, but you could also learn it from multiple perspectives. So if you haven't checked out the series, on there, a few episodes, I do bring on extra coaches that bring another perspective. So now you're getting not just my perspective, not just Coach Brian Deason's perspective, but we're getting other coaches involved, sharing how they would teach it, how they would explain it, what teaching points or coaching points they would use. So this is all geared to helping that coach who probably doesn't even know where to start or where to begin to teach it. So these are meant to just give you ideas, give you things that you can use to make instructing or teaching these concepts in your offense, in the air raid offense. Even if you're not running the air raid offense, these concepts can be used in any offense. Obviously, they got to be tweaked a little bit, but the whole point of this series was to just kind of give back. All right, because I remember, and I talk about it in plenty of the episodes where I remember when, as a new coach, trying to figure out what kind of offense to run and how to do it and how to, whatever schemes. I didn't know where to go, so I turned to YouTube and I found all kinds of sources. I mean, there's countless coaches that have helped me out. So this is my way. This is Coach Deason's way. These are the ways of all the coaches that have come on to the channel to give back and help other coaches in need, because that's what it's all about. It's all about helping us strive to get better. So if you haven't checked it out, the series, make sure you go check it out. There's some great episodes. The series is probably quickly coming to a close. We've probably got a few more episodes left of it, so go check it out. But in this video, we're going to be discussing a little concept that I've learned about, or that I've seriously considered adding into the offense as a little bit of a wrinkle. I'm going to explain about it right now. We're going to talk about a little bit of a concept here that is great. I put it more into the Dagger family, so the Dagger passing concept family. So if you haven't, I actually did a video a while back where I broke down the basic Dagger concept video. It's popping up on the screen right now, so go check it out. I've also got a link in the description to that video, so make sure you go check it out if you don't know what the Dagger concept is. But there's all different ways, different variations, like many plays of the Dagger concept. This is just another version, so I would definitely put it in the family. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to pick on one of the safeties. All right, so if you have a too high shell, you are trying to take advantage of that safety. And you either basically, like you would with a smash concept with a corner, you're basically trying to high-low that safety. All right, you attack him high and you attack him low, and he has to choose, and whichever one he chooses, he's going to be wrong. So it's basically a main read on the safety. But now we're just going to add a little bit of a wrinkle, because the typical Dagger concept, and you're seeing examples of it right now on the screen. The Dagger concept a lot of times is that inside receiver is going to go vertical, while you have the outside receiver running a in route, or maybe even a dig route that is going to come underneath, and it's basically making that safety choose. That safety has to choose: am I going to stay high and not get beat over the top, or do I jump that dig route that's flashing right in front of my face? But now what we are going to do is we're going to change it around a little bit, and so we're going to come at this with a 3-by-1 set. And you're going to have high-low in the safety, but instead that vertical route is going to come from the outside receiver, and that dig route is going to come from the number two. And then of course, you have your flare route or your swing route to the outside. where the corner shouldn't be because he's getting cleared out as well by that vertical route from the outside. So you have three options here, but again, still falls in the dagger family because we are trying to tie low that safety essentially and make him wrong, put him in conflict, and he has to choose between either a deep, skinny post or the dig that's coming right in front of his face. Before I go on, I know probably a lot of you that watch my channel, you say, "Well, Coach, why do you just keep bringing all these plays and these wrinkles and these concepts? Aren't you one that advocates for a small playbook, not too many plays, not too many concepts for your coaches and your players to understand and to learn?" I do. But what I'm doing with these and the whole goal of these plays, these little wrinkles, is to give you ideas to be a little creative because as we all know as coaches, from week to week, there are minor tweaks, minor wrinkles that we might need to add in for that particular week to take advantage of something we may see in the defense. So that's the whole goal of these is because a lot of these are broken off of a particular main family of a certain concept, whether it be mesh, whether it be stick, whether it be the dagger concept like we're talking about today. So these are all meant to just say, hey, you know what, that's a kind of a cool idea. We could just implement that and be a minor tweak to if we run the dagger. If you are an offense that uses the dagger concept a little bit or quite a bit, or it's a mainstay in your offense, then something like this could potentially help you because yeah, defenses are going to say, "Oh, they like to run the dagger, so how can we take that away?" Well, now you come at it from a different angle, a minor tweak, and it can potentially pay off big for you, be a big play in a particular game. So that's the whole goal for these. I know, and I advocate for a small playbook. I do. I have a small playbook, but I do have these tweaks, these ideas, these little wrinkles that I can just put into for a particular week if I need to, and if it works really well, then it obviously be a mainstay in the offense, but we're not necessarily just adding plays, adding plays, adding plays, adding plays, because essentially, if you are running just the basic dagger concept, it's the same read. It's just coming from a different angle, and that reinforces what I talk about too. When you are installing your offense or creating your offense, that you need to develop rules, basic rules, and those rules don't change based on formations, based on locations on the field, but angles or ways to get to those rules do change. But it doesn't change the read for the quarterback. It may change the routes for the receivers, but that's not a big deal. They still understand, okay, I know where I have to get for a particular route. I know where my space is going to be. I know where I'm going to be open. That doesn't change. The hardest thing is to make sure you're not changing it for the quarterback, the reads. So essentially, if you're running the dagger concept, again, you're trying to pick on that safety, like I said earlier, but now you're picking on the safety with different receivers at different locations. So it doesn't change the rules, it doesn't change his progression, and it's a small little wrinkle that you can add. So that's the whole goal for these little wrinkle plays that I've been putting in. I got a lot more coming. I do. I have a plenty more coming, and they all fall into a certain particular family or bucket, as some coaches call. They all fall into those. So if you run counter, you've seen I've done a bunch of counter videos. Well, there's just little wrinkles and things you can add to the counter. So make sure you go check those out. But these videos, these small little videos, and this probably video is not going to end up being too short after I'm done with it. But anyways, that's the goal for these is to bring them to you to give you ideas, and in hopes that adding these small little things, these small little tweaks, these small little wrinkles can make you successful, especially if you run these particular concepts in your offense as a mainstay. Overview of what I'm talking about. So we're just gonna run a basic dive since this video is dedicated to a concept out of a 3x1 set. We're gonna just basically break down a basic dagger concept and how it would potentially look. The basic one, how it would look to a 3x1 set. So if we're going to run a basic 3x1 set, the basic dagger concept, you could either have it from either one of these inside receivers, but we'll just go with the number two here. He's just going to run a straight seam up, and he's going to really, really just force that safety to make a decision. And then we're going to have the outside receiver here run about a 10-yard dig cutting in, and then we'll have a little arrow route here to the outside. So what are we trying to look at? I'm not even going to pay attention right now to the backside here. We're just kind of really focused on this concept side here. So again, we are trying to make this safety wrong here. Okay, so does he go vertical and clear out the space where he could potentially be sitting in this zone right here? Does he go vertical and occupy the deep space here, the deep half if he's in a cover two, and stay with that vertical seam? Well, then what happens is that open space underneath, that dig is coming right in behind it, and the quarterback can see that cutting through the middle, and he hits that ball right there underneath. Or what does that safety do? So does that safety jump that route, that dig? Does he jump that dig? Then the quarterback simply just can kind of go over the top here, throw the receiver open into that space behind here because the safety jumped on that dig. Now you say, well, coach, what about this overhang player or this apex player? What do you do about him? Well, simply, that's what this flat route here is for. So if simply this player runs with the vertical, he stays here, and they have both of these covered, well, then they've just obviously left all this flat spot open underneath, and so we can take advantage of that. So there's a lot of options here. And then obviously, if we need to, depending on how they cover the 3x1, do you have a one-on-one situation backside? No, we're not going to talk about backside right now, but that's potentially what you can do here. And so that's how you would basically just read the basic dagger concept out of a 3x1 set. Now you can run out of a 2x2 set. You can do things with the running back two to add to this to really, outnumber the defense on this side. But that's the basic dagger concept. Now I'm going to just show it to you at a different angle. This is the different way you can run it and come at a different angle and potentially throw the safety off guard because again you are still trying to read that safety. So we're just going to start with our number 3 receiver. He's still going to run that flat route. So he's still going to run that arrow route to the flats. Okay. And so that potentially can hold this apex defender here. Now, this is where we high-low the corner, or excuse me, the safety from a different angle. Original was from this number 2 receiver. Now we are going to run a real skinny post here over the top. All right. And then what we're going to have is we're going to have a dig here underneath with the number 2. So it's still dagger. It's just coming from a different angle here. We are still trying to high-low that corner. Again, same read, doesn't change. Doesn't change here. Still trying to high-low this safety. If this safety jumps at that number 2, because a lot of times that safety is responsible in a 3x1, they're responsible for that number 2. So if they see that number 2 dropping into a short dig here, he's going to jump that route, and you can go over the top, right over his head with that post route. Now, what about the corner? Well, corner, a lot of times, especially in my offense, we teach the receivers to stem their routes. What does that mean? That means you stem the route. So in other words, instead of just running directly at, you're going to come at an angle. You're going to come at an angle here and kind of get this defender to either turn his hips because it makes it look like he's coming at a fade. So it's not a hard angle. So it's a slight angle this way. And then once that defender sees or appears to think that you are going basically on a fade route, you put your foot in the ground, and that creates that space because the defender's going to flow with you or flow with that receiver to the outside, which is then going to create more space. And you could put that outside foot in the ground and make your plant to the post, and it's going to give you more space. I'm going to show you a quick little example of what a stem route is or what stemming a route can do. And just show you what it looks like. So I'm going to show you that clip here in just a second. But that's essentially how we would read this concept, and I'm going to show you some film on it here in just a minute. Here's a real quick example of what I mean by stemming a route. You can see this is a famous play made famous in the national championship game. This is basically where Ohio State won the game. And so it was a huge 3rd and 11 play pass to Jeremiah Smith. They went deep. They saw this, and you see clips of it on YouTube all over the place about how they saw they could take advantage of number 29. So Jeremiah Smith essentially gets a vertical go ball on this, but to give himself more space, he stems the route inside, almost like he's going this way, and then he kind of fades it back out because the defender goes with him this way and gets his hips turned around, and then all of a sudden Jeremiah makes that plant, and he has a lot more space because he brought or pulled that defender in to create more space on the vertical fade. Real quick. See the space he has. Another angle of it. So this is Texas running this. This is the quick clip here. Again, number 3 is running a out route. We have number 2 on that dig. And number 3 is going to stem the route, and then he's going to run a skiddy post from behind. Again, trying to high-low this safety. The safety jumps the dig and able to hit the post over the top for a touchdown. This is a better angle of it. Again, high-low in the safety, you'll see wide receiver is able to stem this route a little bit and put his foot in the ground and make that corner go in the wrong direction or give him that space to the inside. Apex defender tries to stay with the dig but cannot. The space underneath here, the dig is open, but the safety jumps it, which gives the space over the top with the post. As you can see, he jumps that dig, post over the top for the touchdown. So that was the little tweak you can add to the Dagger concept if that's a mainstay or a main concept that you use in your offense. Simple little tweak again from a different angle. Does not change the progression. Simply just attacks the safety from a different angle, especially if a defense again is geared towards trying to take away your Dagger concept and they know how you mainly like to run it. Well, this is just a different way you can throw at them. Again, these videos that I do when it shows different plays, it's not just adding one after another play to your playbook. These are simple, just little wrinkles and tweaks you can add to a particular concept by week basis. That doesn't mean they have to be a mainstay in your playbook, but it's a week by week basis of simple things that you can do by you seeing things that can take advantage of the defense that you are playing for that week. Or it potentially could be your mainstay in your playbook, and then you just go with that, whatever it might be. But these are just simple little videos, ideas for which that can help you get your offense better and score more points. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I really do. Thank you for watching it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel grow. Also, like this video, share this video out. It helps this video get seen to a bunch of different coaches who may be wanting this kind of information, this kind of help. Also, make sure you check out the Air Raid Blueprint series that I'm doing with Coach Brian Deason. I got another episode coming out here very, very shortly. And so, again, thank you for watching. If you want again, that Dagger concept, that video that I did a while back, it's linked in the description, but it's also going to pop up right here as well. So make sure you check that out.